As we know, the White House is experiencing a number of shakeups, a number of individuals who are either being fired or pressured to resign. And it seems as though there are other members of Trump's administration that are now losing any sway or influence they have over the president. The most recent example that's been reported about is actually John Kelly, the White House chief of staff. Now, recent reports indicate that Kelly actually wasn't with the president last week when Trump abruptly decided to fire HR McMaster as national security advisor and replace him with John Bolton. Just two people were in the room for that decision, and those two people were Trump and Bolton. And so there is a lot of concern that John Kelly is not only losing his influence, but that John Kelly was one of the few people who kind of kept things under control in Trump's administration. And if he's now kind of pushing Kelly away, does that mean that there will be more chaos within the White House? Which is hard to believe, but yeah, I think that could be likely.
Yeah, I mean, I think it almost stands to reason that it would happen. Kelly was already besieged by this president who does all this stuff that is ridiculous. He talks first and asks questions later. He's on Twitter late at night, and all of these things. And even the access to the president was being controlled by Kelly. He was trying to get a hold of all of these things. He was trying to bring some order to the general disorder that Trump had. It claims his operating style in the Oval Office. With the loss of Kelly, it's a little unclear as to what's going to happen, but certainly that general freewheeling style, and that's a generous way to put it with Trump, I would call it reckless, will have no checks on it whatsoever, or certainly limited checks on it.
Well, it seems like in this new, even scarier era of the Trump administration, Trump just wants to be completely untethered. He just wants to be able to do what he wants to do, carry out whatever ideas he has at any given moment without any form of checks and balances within his administration. And so if Kelly did serve as some sort of mitigating factor, obviously Trump isn't gonna love that. And there have been some White House staffers who have spoken to the media anonymously and mentioned that Trump doesn't even think that he necessarily needs a White House chief of staff if Kelly were to not be there anymore. So that's a scary idea because it's the way dictators think. They don't want anyone advising them, anyone controlling them, anyone telling them what to do, and Trump is kind of headed in that direction.
All the run up to the Trump presidency, you heard a lot about how he's a billionaire and how he runs these businesses and he'll be able to run this country. But the truth is that the Trump businesses were really run as a small kind of corner store operation. He didn't have a lot of people. There wasn't a big infrastructure from a personnel standpoint. It was really Trump and his family, and they ran the whole place. And that's sort of the way he wants to run the White House. Now he's got Bolton in there, who he likes because he sees him on Fox News talking tough, and he likes his mustache. And he brings him in there, or he doesn't like his mustache.
He doesn't like his mustache. But he finally decided to accept the mustache because he likes the tough talk.
That's it. Yeah. Okay, so the tough talk outweighs mustache. But anyway, whatever. Those are the wrong reasons to have somebody involved in your inner circle.
Right.
But he's still in touch with Lewandowski, and he's still in touch with Scaramucci.
Yes.
And he still has all these advisors who are connecting to him, even if they're not formally in his White House.
Okay, so I like that you mentioned those two names, Corey Lewandowski and also Anthony Scaramucci. Those are two people that Kelly did not want around the White House under any circumstances. Now there are reports that Trump is in communications with them. In fact, Corey Lewandowski just recently met with Trump in DC, and previously John Kelly had said that if Lewandowski were to visit the White House, he would have to personally escort him. And that didn't happen in this case. Trump met with Lewandowski without John Kelly. Also, last week when Trump spoke to President Vladimir Putin days before the US decided to expel dozens of Russian diplomats, Kelly was not on the call.
That's unprecedented, right?
Right, it is. So again, it shows you that Kelly's influence is tapering off. And also, aides say that Kelly mishandled Rob Porter's departure, first by revising a statement that praised the aide after news reports surfaced that he'd been accused of domestic violence, and then by giving reporters an inaccurate timeline of events leading up to Porter's dismissal. There are reports that Trump is still talking to Rob Porter, but it seems as though they are using Kelly's mishandling of that situation as a reason for why his influence is tapering off.
Well, that Rob Porter situation was bizarre, and it was mishandled by Kelly, but it seems like he might have been getting orders from Trump to try, because Porter was very important to Trump. He was a real kind of organizer of Trump's schedule, of Trump's appearances, all of these things as sort of secretary to the president. But they're clearly just hanging on Kelly, all of these different things, setting him up for, his eventual departure.
And of course, what we're hearing from the White House is the same old, the calm before the storm. No, Kelly's awesome. No, we're not planning on getting rid of him. And then that should immediately be a warning sign that Kelly will be gone very soon. Obviously, that is my speculation, but if you look at what's happened with this administration previously, with the ouster of other officials, they usually say that that person is safe. They're not going to get rid of that person, and then a couple of days later, that person is gone.
Yeah, look, the leaks and the journalism associated with this White House have been spot on. I mean, there really haven't been too many leaks or journalistic work associated with the White House that haven't been pretty accurate, and so that's the word out of the White House. And you can kind of read the tea leaves pretty easily on this for all the reasons that Anna's mentioning. You just see the way he's been diminished in terms of his access, in terms of his connection to the president, and you kind of just do the math. He's going to be gone.
You just watched the video by the Young Turks, home of the revolution. If you'd like to get a lot more than that, get the full show by becoming a member. tytnetwork.com/join.